So we're going to have a tour of Pig Row. It's late summer, going into early autumn in September, and we're here at the bottom of the garden. This is really a project. This is what we call the cloister at the moment. It's a narrow path that runs by the back of the house. Eventually we're going to take out this wall here, which stretches all the way up to the bottom of the garden, and it runs probably about between 7 and 8 foot into the back of the path. That's all going to be dug out sometime next year. It's also the kind of place where we put plants. Here we have this year's rosemary and geraniums and nasturtiums, stone taken from the old kitchen, rubble from the old kitchen, and herbs and lavateria waiting to go in to the beds further up. Here you can see cuttings from a smoke bush. These are plants that we had at Drovers, a camellia and a cotoneaster. And as you can see at the moment, these are the steps that go up to the garden, which are very narrow and quite slippery, and we're hoping to get rid of these when we redo the wall. As you can see, it stretches some distance, that bottom bed, before it gets to the next retaining wall. So you can see warts and all, rubble from doing the kitchen, spare pile of wood that needs chopping, a bed that we're using to house perennial plants at the moment. In here you'll have nepeta, lupins, the assorted weed, some mallows. Back there we have a perennial, well actually it's an annual meadow mix that we've been trialling. As we come around here we've got some salad crops, coming again into another holding bed for perennials. Originally when we moved in here, this lower garden was literally all laurel as far as the eye could see. We replaced the laurel with hornbeam, and we've got a lovely arch here that was built for us. This is the rhubarb that we took from Drovers as well, which has been split, multiplied and grown on. This is a brick path again, recycled from the kitchen, from a wall that we took down. And here you can see the fruit bed and the hornbeam hedge, which is now really only 18 months old. There's our potatoes waiting to be dug up. It's been rather a bad year on Pig Row, as we discussed in our last film. As you can see, we've kind of had the only thing growing on our garden is weeds, in amongst the perennials and some of the vegetables. And for the first time we have nettles, which is good, which means the soil has improved somewhat to have us to have nettles. As you can see, the courgettes have really never got away, even though copious amounts of compost and muck were dug in. It's just been too cold. You can hear the wind blowing as we speak now. Here we have another annual bed that we've been trialling along with Lychnis, which we took from another part of the garden, and that's the glass house. Further down the garden at some point we're hoping to put a polytunnel. We haven't decided where yet. Here we have the berry beds. That's Himalayan giant, in amongst Digitalis alba, some Aquilegias and some box cuttings. This kind of gives you an idea of how bad the weather's been this year. A raspberry bed that's normally clear and free of weeds is absolutely overrun with them as far as the eye can see. But fortunately we are getting some berries. This is Blackberry Loch Ness. And this is my wife's studio, the studio that we've talked about time after time, and the studio that was blown down the hill in Easter, had a hole punched in its window which we've yet to repair, and which I've yet to bake shutters for, and plant more hedges just here to baffle the wind. As you can see, this is the first year for our orchard. That's balsam apple. They're doing really well. Recently we've cleared out underneath, keeping the weeds down. As you can see, grass clippings are in abundance, have blown all over it. We can't really use a lawnmower on the orchard because of the nature of the ground. It's rather wavy and bumpy, which you probably can tell from the camera going up and down. It's bordered by a hawthorn hedge, which was recently pruned by my neighbour to get into the fence. But when I say prune, it's more kind of been hacked back, but it is growing back, and we are taking this opportunity to dig out a strip by it, clear out all the perennial weeds underneath it, and plant bee-friendly vines. We are looking down the garden, and this is how open we are to the elements. And there's the moors and a lovely washing line. At least with the wind, the clothes dry, if not us.